Friday, July 29th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East, and heat is our big weather story again today. We will see some storm changes returning over the weekend. I'll talk about that. We'll take a look at next week as well, plus Tropical Storm Don heading for landfall tonight. I'll get into all that as today's video unfolds. Let's start with the watch, warning, and advisory situation across the lower 48. Still a couple severe thunderstorm watch boxes, at least portions of them left in effect for the southern Great Lakes region this morning. And notice the heat advisories. Those are the peach shaded counties in effect for really the eastern halves of North and South Carolina, as well as Virginia. And it's going to be another hot day as today unfolds. Yesterday, Raleigh hit 102. Burlington hit 99. It was 97 in Charlotte, and I think we're looking at highs today. Upper 90s to around 100 for the Interstate 85 corridor, and probably pushing 103 or 104 this afternoon in places like Raleigh and Fayetteville, and close to 100 in Wilmington. Now let's talk about temperatures at the moment in the 70s. In fact, 75 or higher for a good chunk of the eastern half of North and South Carolina. Dew point temperatures up there in the upper 60s to lower 70s, and again, they'll slightly drop as today unfolds, but they'll stay up enough to produce some heat index values over 100, and in those heat advisory areas over 105 this afternoon. Some showers and storms from the southern Great Lakes back into the plains. That is with the cold front that we'll get here as soon as late tomorrow, and that'll bring in some scattered thunderstorms over the weekend. More on that in just a second. There's the upper air pattern today, still that upper level ridge hanging on for one more day, but it begins to develop back into the plain states again over the weekend. This is Sunday afternoon. Here we are on Tuesday afternoon, and it looks like that ridge will try to hold back in the southern plains and the Rocky Mountain region for a good chunk of next week. If that's the case, that would be where the hottest weather is. Not that it won't be pretty hot around here, but the core of the heat staying off to our west, it looks like, for a good chunk of next week. And then here we are all the way out at Sunday the 7th of August, and it's still, this is the European model, has that ridge centered west of us, so while it would still be fairly hot, nothing extreme. Let's look at the GFS model this afternoon. A dry day on tap for everybody in the region, with the exception of maybe the westernmost North Carolina mountains. Tomorrow, a different story though. With that front dropping in, I think we see some scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms for the mountains, foothills, and Piedmont areas, maybe even a few of them drifting down to the coast. And with that front still hanging out close to the region on Sunday, looks like good opportunity Sunday for some showers and some thunderstorms. But then that front washes out, so the rain chance greatly diminishes by Monday, and it looks like a mainly dry day for much of the region there on Tuesday and Wednesday with highs in the 90s. And late in the week, Thursday or Friday, we'll see the next front drop in from the north and another shower and storm chance with that. Let's talk about Don. There's a look at the satellite image. Looks pretty healthy this morning. There's been a nice blow-up of overnight convection. Now, the center of Don is fairly close to the northern edge of this big blow-up of thunderstorms, but signs that it may strengthen a bit before landfall, and landfall will be tonight. The computer model is in very good agreement. This is going to come ashore close to the Rio Grande River, probably in far south Texas. And there's the official National Hurricane Center forecast, bringing Don ashore somewhere between 10 p.m. tonight and 1 a.m. tomorrow. So it'll be an overnight landfall there in South Texas. Let me show you something else going on. We're watching this tropical wave out in the Atlantic Basin, and that could become our next system down the line. A couple of the models here. This is the Canadian model. Really ramps this thing up very nicely. It's sitting just east of the southern Bahamas at 144 hours on the Canadian model. The GFS, it's a little further west and south at 168 hours. So that's probably our next system that will develop, and we'll have to see how the upper air pattern looks by later on next week to see if that would be a recurving system if it developed, or maybe would head for a U.S. landfall. But that's a ways down the road later on next week. All right, that is it for today. Everybody stay cool, have a great weekend, and God bless.